So a few weeks ago, I made a video talking about the most frustrating episode of SpongeBob, where he gets stuck in a ringer because Patrick was being dumb, and then the entire town turns against him for getting angry about it. And I still stand by that. That's the most frustrating episode of SpongeBob. And in that episode, SpongeBob was treated unfairly. However, there have been a few episodes where SpongeBob was kind of a jerk, which is usually out of character for him because he's usually nice and kind-hearted. But there have been a few times where SpongeBob was just like insufferable as a character. So today we're going to talk about 3 instances where SpongeBob was mean. There may be more episodes, but these are the 3 that come to mind for me personally. Okay, so first let's talk about the episode Waiting. So in this episode, SpongeBob is collecting box tops to get a toy, right? So he has to send in 99 box tops, and then he gets a toy. So he does that, and then he's waiting by the mailbox. And that's the entire episode. So first of all, this episode is incredibly boring, because it's literally just SpongeBob waiting in his front porch for the entire time. And second of all, he's just mean to everybody. Him waiting for this toy causes him to become impatient and just like really like just mean. Like Sandy comes by, and instead of SpongeBob just telling her that he's busy right now, he literally grabs her and flips her, which is assault. And then Sandy leaves and we never see her for the rest of the episode. So I don't really know what the point of that was. And then Gary comes in because he's hungry, and SpongeBob tells Gary not now because he's busy, so he's neglecting to feed his pet, which is a big deal. You can't not feed your pet. That's a big deal. And like I don't understand why SpongeBob has to wait by the mailbox the entire time. Why can't he keep saying, "Oh, I can't leave. What if the mailman comes when I'm not here?" Okay, so what? Just wait. Then when you get back, the toy will be there. Like I don't understand why you need to wait by the mailbox until you get it. What do you think? Squidward's gonna steal your mail? Yeah, I doubt it. So then Patrick comes by and SpongeBob yells at him. He's like, "What do you want?" And then Patrick tells SpongeBob that they had a birthday party for him at the Krusty Krab and he missed it because he was waiting the entire time. And then that's the thing that makes SpongeBob realize, like, that's the thing that makes SpongeBob feel bad. Not the fact that he physically assaulted Sandy, not the fact that he didn't feed Gary, the fact that he missed something that was for him is what makes him feel bad. And he also says that he spent the entire day waiting, but then Patrick says he's only been there 20 minutes. So he missed the birthday. So how short was the birthday party if he missed it, if he was only there for 20 minutes? Anyway, yeah, but then the mailman does come and SpongeBob gets the toy. And then Patrick touches it, and it like the toy's head and the toy's arms and toy's legs turns into springs. Like, you know those toys that like you push on it and then it like springs up. Yeah, so it's that kind of toy. But SpongeBob and Patrick don't realize that. So SpongeBob thinks that Patrick broke the toy and then he screams at him. So he didn't learn anything. So he doesn't feel bad about how he treated his friends because he does it right, because he does it again. And then Squidward comes in and tells SpongeBob it's supposed to do that. And then he fixes it and then shows SpongeBob that the toy is supposed to do that. And SpongeBob still doesn't get it. He's like, "Oh, you fixed it. Oh, how can I repay you?" And then Squidward's like, "Move to a new neighborhood." And after how SpongeBob acted in this episode, yeah, I think everyone wants to move to a new neighborhood. He doesn't apologize to anyone. He doesn't apologize to Sandy. He doesn't apologize to Gary. He feels bad for 5 seconds, then immediately goes back to being a jerk once he gets the toy. So yeah, SpongeBob wasn't very likable in this episode. The episode itself just wasn't a good episode. It was just it was boring. Like SpongeBob was bored waiting by the mailbox the entire time. That's how the audience probably felt. Like just being bored, waiting for SpongeBob to finish waiting. Like it was just boring. At least in the episode, like there have been episodes that involve SpongeBob and the gang being trapped in one place, and even if the episode takes place in the entire episode, like even if the episode takes place in that one location for the entire episode, they still find ways to make it clever. Like the time they were stuck in the time capsule, and the time they were stuck in the jungle or the forest or whatever with the magic conch shell, they still find ways to make it clever, which is why it was weird that in this episode it was as boring as it sounds. SpongeBob sits by the mailbox and waits for a package the entire time. So yeah. boring episode. SpongeBob was a jerk. Okay, the next episode we're going to talk about is the episode called Have You Seen the Snail? So this was an hour-long special about Gary going missing and SpongeBob looking for him. So the reason Gary goes missing is because SpongeBob doesn't feed him again, because he's distracted with this like paddle ball challenge where he's supposed to hit the paddle ball thousands of times, and that causes him to not only forget to feed Gary, but just forget everything. Patrick says he spends 10 days just sitting in this house trying to do the paddleball thing. Which also means that he didn't go to work. He didn't do anything else. He just stood there for 10 days and tried to do the paddleball. And yeah. So Gary runs away. And SpongeBob also yells at Gary, by the way. Gary keeps asking SpongeBob for food. And SpongeBob yells at him and says, "Can't you see I'm busy?" And yeah. So Gary runs away. And then when SpongeBob realizes Gary ran away. And the only reason SpongeBob realizes it is because Patrick comes by and like snaps him out of it. So how long would SpongeBob have been doing that if Patrick didn't show up? So yeah, so SpongeBob realizes Gary's missing, and he's all sad and cries. But you can't have any sympathy for him. It's his fault Gary ran away. He neglected to feed Gary, and he yelled at Gary. So of course Gary's gonna run away. You can't treat your pet like that. That's horrible. So yeah, but then at the end of the episode, obviously Gary comes back because the new owner Gary's with turned out to be, I don't know, killing her snails or eating them or something. I don't know. So Gary runs away. But, like, Gary would have stayed there, most likely, if the lady didn't turn out to be crazy. A crazy old lady, or whatever. Sorry, that's a harsh word to use. But, you know, like, who knows you know what I'm saying, right? Like, if Gary didn't find that out about the woman, who knows if he would have stayed with her or would have went back to SpongeBob. I mean, he did seem to miss SpongeBob even before he realized what the old lady was doing. But then he remembered that SpongeBob yelled at him and he kind of forgot about him. So I don't know. Would he have stayed with the lady or would he have went back to SpongeBob? I don't know. But Gary comes back to SpongeBob. SpongeBob apologizes. But then he neglects to feed him in other episodes too. So the apology really doesn't mean anything. So yeah. And the last episode we're going to talk about is the episode called A Pal for Gary. Yes, so SpongeBob was definitely at his worst in this episode. He was so just mean and unlikable. And he was dull. Like, okay, so basically SpongeBob feels bad that he always leaves Gary alone at work when he goes to work. So he decides to get another pet so Gary can have a friend. So he gets this like fluffy fish that kind of looks like a teddy bear. And the fish turns out to be scary and like vicious. And SpongeBob doesn't realize that. So Gary is scared of the new pet. And SpongeBob doesn't realize that Gary's scared. He's just like, "Gary, don't ignore our new friend." And he gives them both food. He puts their food in a food bowl. Which, like, who makes both their pets share from a food bowl? I have 2 birds and they don't eat from the same food bowl. They have their own food bowls. And I know people with 2 dogs or 2 cats and they have separate food bowls too. So I don't know whatever. Whatever. So Gary, the new pet eats Gary's food, and so Gary presumably doesn't get to eat again. So again, SpongeBob doesn't feed Gary. I mean, I guess SpongeBob did try to feed Gary, and he didn't know the monster ate Gary's food, but Gary tried to tell SpongeBob, and SpongeBob didn't listen. So yeah, it is kind of his fault. Then at the end of the entire episode, it's just Gary being terrified, and SpongeBob being mean to him and being like, "Gary, stop being a jerk to our new friend." Like, yeah, and then at the end, the new pet turns into a big scary monster and tries to eat Gary, and SpongeBob still doesn't realize what's going on. He thinks that Gary is attacking the new pet. The new pet's name's Puffy Fluffy, by the way. He thinks Gary is attacking Puffy Fluffy, even though Puffy Fluffy is obviously the one attacking Gary. Like, anybody could see that. Like, SpongeBob doesn't even need to be smart to see that. He can just see what's in front of him. Like, I know SpongeBob has never really been smart, but he's not, like, Patrick. He's not Patrick level dumb. Like, he knows, like, I think he has a little more common sense than that. So then Puffy Fluffy tries to eat SpongeBob, and Gary saves SpongeBob and chases Puffy Fluffy away, and then SpongeBob gets mad at Gary for chasing him away. Again, no awareness of what just happened. No awareness of the fact that Puffy Fluffy tried to eat Gary or tried to eat SpongeBob. And then the episode ends with SpongeBob deciding to take Gary to work with him so he won't be lonely. So nothing really got resolved. I mean, yeah, the work thing got resolved, but Gary, it's established in the beginning that Gary actually likes being home alone. So SpongeBob really didn't accomplish anything. And did SpongeBob ever realize that Puffy Fluffy was a monster, or does he still think Gary was chased him out for no reason? I don't know. It was a really frustrating episode to watch. All three episodes that we watched were that I described were kind of annoying, but in different ways. In Waiting, SpongeBob was really mean spirited and just a jerk to everybody. Um the Have You Seen the Snail? He was neglectful towards Gary, and in A Pal for Gary, he was dismissive and oblivious. So he was just a jerk. And notice how all three episodes involve him not feeding Gary. And I'm sure there are more episodes where he forgets to feed Gary. Like, he keeps forgetting to feed Gary. No wonder he ran away. Yeah, it's just frustrating. So, okay, so yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. Do you have any episode? Do you remember any episodes where SpongeBob was annoying? Do you remember any episodes where other characters were annoying? Let's talk about it in the comments. And thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.